With that, the next one was, I noticed there's a couple that happen when you kind of quit the drinking. A big one for me, I was talking about this today when we had a seminar on boot camp, was the end game. So we started at the very beginning there, at the approach shit. Some of the very end game stuff, it's just so important to be decisive. Like you just have to be fully decisive here, right? And I think it's a challenge because if you're thinking, okay, you're in there, you see the girl and you're like, maybe I could pull this one. I could do this, but I've never done it before. Like everyone has their first cold approach, one night stand or something like that, right? And it's a fucking big deal. But if you really think about it and you're in there and this is your goal, like whatever your goals are. My goals, I'm traveling around, so it's usually like this has to happen tonight or it's not gonna happen. That's just kind of the game I play. So if that's my goal, I'm like, okay, how can I make this happen tonight? I gotta do this. And if you really think about it, that girl that I'm gonna get with, how many like one night stands has she had with some like random stranger dude? I don't know, 3, 4 or something like that. So she doesn't know what the hell to do, right? She doesn't know what she's doing there. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? And all of a sudden it just kind of fades into sadness or something there because you just don't do anything and you don't really know what to do. So you really just have to have that fucking decisiveness, right? And funny enough, what do I notice with all of a sudden, again, we're in February here. What do I notice with me being sober again? All of a sudden I got this girl, I remember we were in Buenos Aires because we just kind of did South America tour. And so I'm in there and I got this girl and I'm like, is she hot enough? Is she not hot enough? Is she hot enough? And all of a sudden, because I was like indecisive, I ended up not pulling her, basically. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, damn, what type of girls are you pulling when you're drunk? Like, probably should kind of step up a little bit there, right? So for the hotter girl stuff, I'm definitely gonna, one of the focuses for me learning from that was like, make sure to hit up the hot sets, and we'll talk about in a second how to get better at that. But also the other thing with it is looking at the end of the night there, and what I was suggesting to some of the guys today, I was like, go with the binary system. It's like 1, 0. 1 is like I would hook up with her, 0 is like I wouldn't. And then once you're like, okay, 1, make the decision and just roll with it. Be like, here we go, we're doing this shit. Because at the end of the night there, especially like, whoa, this is a big deal, there's a lot of risk here. She needs to have that trust. She needs to kind of submit there and be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing here. And the only way you're gonna do that is if you're like, hey, this is what we're doing, let's fucking go, let's do this shit, right? So really amping it up and owning it. So that was another thing I kind of learned. Some other things that were really cool is I feel that each year of me being an instructor, I said like the first year I had some good skills. I called it the year of 7s. So it was me getting with like a lot of 7s, kind of getting a lot of reference points there. Then you have the year of 8s. And it always says that I say the year of AIDS. Everyone thinks I say that shit. No, not AIDS. The year of 8s. And then kind of recently it's been like solid 9s, just like 9s, hitting that shit up really nicely. So it's like, how did I get that more regularly? Would anyone want to hear about that? Get with some 9s? Maybe someone in here? I was like, no, I like my 7s. Stick with that shit. Not that I'm even superficial about anything, but the goal is obviously you need the growth, so you need to keep moving forward. So how do you get with the hotter girls, right? For me, what the big thing I noticed, especially being full sober, I'm doing this shit, going through the process, is that it's like a stepping stone thing at the beginning of the night. So first off, I have to just get in the flow. For the seminar, the guys in seminar today, I'm just doing all the shit we talked about today, it seems, right? So it's like just get in the flow at the beginning there, kind of rock that a bit, and get in a good happy space. I feel that me, once I'm in I call it like my happy chi, it's pretty easy from that headspace to be like, cool, I'm in here, I'm rocking, let's start approaching, I'm feeling social. But then what happens is you're in there with the girl, and all of a sudden you see the hotter girl, and you're like, no, I'm just gonna stay with this. And what I call it is like state preservation. So in that moment, you're kind of happy to be with the girl, and you see the hotter one, you're like, oh, I don't wanna like risk, I'm in a happy place here. I don't wanna risk kind of going over there and like pushing this one away and going for what I want. And that, it also reminds me back of at the beginning of kind of my development where I'm just like a nice dude, right? I'm nice. So I think one of the problems a lot of guys have when you're starting off is all of a sudden you get some girl's number, and then the rest of the night you feel like she's looking at you, and you don't wanna like talk to any of the girls. Who here has ever had that happen, right? Everyone has that. I think what it is like, you remember the time where you got a number from some girl and then you saw her like making out with some dude and you're like, no, we had a connection. Oh, it was love, right? So you feel bad, right? So it's good. It's like sympathy or empathy, I don't know, whatever. So you don't want to do that to the girl. But at some point, what I always say, it's like, you got to become the hot girl. You got to become the prize there, right? And take what you want. So this year has been a lot about being selfish too a bit, right? So for me, it was like, I'm in there with this girl. And what I actually had to prove to myself was that I could cut this off nice and clean. Because what would happen then is like, I'm out, okay, so I'm out. Sober, in the club, staring at all these fucking crazy alpha Argentinian dudes that are bumping into me left and right. I'm like, okay. And I see this girl, I'm like, you know what? I said to myself, I'm gonna go for hotter girls. So I know I could go in there and maybe talk to her, but it's gonna last for a pretty long time. And I don't wanna be mean and cut it off. So I don't wanna talk to her. I'm like, oh, but there's a really hot Argentinian girl. But because I don't have any social momentum, I don't approach her either. And then I'm just like, what do I do? And I'm drinking water, this is boring. At least I'd get drunk if I wasn't doing something, right? So in this moment, it's like, so how can we work on both here? What I had to actually do is I had to actually, like, I'm in there with, I had to prove to myself with the, like, average girl, whatever you want to say it is, and be willing to cut it off and be like, hey, this is a lot of fun, but I need to be with my friends, or like, it's boys' night, or like, I'm going to dance for a little bit, bathroom her a little bit, and like prove to myself that I'm comfortable doing that. So then when the night comes by and I'm like, okay, cool, let's warm up for a little bit. I'm like, okay, warm up. Oh, there's the hottie. Cool, it's nice meeting you. I'll talk to you later. Boom, hit up the hot shit, right, and go for that. Actually, this is funny. This is out of the product, but what it is like, so basically the game plan is you're going out, you're hitting it hard, you're trying to like push into your lean into your potential, push to the extreme, try to get like the super hot girl, hit that shit up, but then rolls around the 2 a.m. time or so, at least around here it seems 1:30, 2 a.m. And then what we call it is the wounded gazelle time. And what the wounded gazelle is like, you're like, okay, you say to yourself, did I push it as hard as I could all night long? Yes, I did. All right, cool. Let's find some love for the night, wherever it can be found. And you don't beat yourself up, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, let's go, let's do this. Because it's like you did push yourself, right? So then it's not like if you're trying to work on like the hotter girl type stuff, you don't need to just like go sexless for 6 months or something because you're pushing for that. So remember the wounded gazelle time. If you take anything away from the speech, wounded gazelles, yeah, America. Cool. So that was February and March. For me, what was really cool is by me, really, it was like this fucking churning process of like working on this process, getting in this good state, this good state. And the other thing was, I was talking to Anthony, he's like, dude, you put on some fucking mass there. And for me, January on to like currently, it's been about a year that I've been hitting the gym pretty consistently. And so the other thing was like, I want to quit drinking beer because it's like I can't get the six-pack. They say the six-pack is the ultimate LMR buster, right? Just get the six-pack, right? You guys know what LMR is? I don't know. No one gets the shit. You guys are fun. Come on, you got to laugh a little bit more here, right? So I was trying to get the six-pack, doing all that, cut all the booze, cut all that shit out, right? But actually for me, the weirdest part, so I figured what I'd do here is kind of, since this is like man convention, it's not just pick up shit, kind of go through a bunch of shit that I learned this year. And for me, one of the fitness ones, the weirdest thing is like, you know, you'd think you're like, okay, I'm eternally on the road. So I'm on the road 300 days a year. Like I said, I was out of the US for 6 months this year. I haven't paid rent for 3 years, but I kind of bop around between New York and Chicago and then, like I said, all over the place. But so it's easy to say, okay, this guy is on the road. For me, I'm just lazy, and that's why I don't hit the gym, because it's hard to find the gym in your city whenever you go out and actually do all that shit, pay the $30, because it's usually super expensive to go for one day or something like that. But actually the main reason that I didn't go to the gym was because I would be afraid I'd be in some city like Tallinn, Estonia or some shit like that. And I walked into the gym and I don't know which is the men's locker room and like which is the women because it's in some weird Estonian shit. And I'm like, So I'm like, whoop, there's a bunch of hot fucking Estonian girls. Okay, cool. And do that. So I was actually, the reason why I didn't go to the gym was more like a social pressure aversion, right? So for me, always being like the pickup coach, I'm like, what is this? You need to box this out. But that's also crazy that like my health was affected by the fact that I was like introverted or something. And this is this year. So it's like even though I'm out, I have a lot of situational confidence in the club and doing all that shit, you constantly can be leaning into your edge there. So I think it's something to look at for you guys as well. Like what are the areas of your life? For me, like stuff that used to be a challenge was things like asking directions or something like that. Going into like a store and being like, hey, do you know where the Grilled is or something like that? I'd be like, oh, I'll just figure it out. I'm a man. I'll figure it out. But actually, no, it's like I was more afraid of just asking them and then be like, we don't speak English. Get the fuck out of here. Is that really ever going to happen? No. But because of that 1% or 5% chance of it happening, I just wouldn't do it, right? So that's kind of fucked up there, right? So that's kind of my health little side kick there. But what happened was really cool is coming out of that March, April, all of a sudden I came back to America and everything kind of culminated. I went to Vegas and just had the fucking run of glory. For like, I went to Vegas, then went back home for a bit in like Chicago where my family lives. And then I went back to Vegas again. Like the first one was like 6 girls and 8 nights or some shit, and then doing even more the next time around and just like crazy fucking mayhem. I'm like, holy shit, it's May, it's my birthday. So I'm like, I turned 30, best year of my life, turning 30, holy shit, all these girls, this is fucking nuts. I'm like, yeah, but what happened was is when I was in Buenos Aires, I'm like, so Buenos Aires for me was vacation. So I'm like, I'm going there, I'm not gonna work at all, I'm just gonna eat steak every day. And we ate steak every fucking day. And then we went out to the club every damn night and fucking lifted weights. It was like the man's dream or some shit, right? But I came home and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize the exchange rate very well there.